Good morning. Welcome to the webinar Getting Started with HoorayHR. My name's Annette. I'm going to have in the next 30 minutes a walkthrough of HoorayHR. The webinar is mostly intended for admins that either want a refresher about Hooray or that just started working with HoorayHR. I will be sharing my screen for the webinar, and then we're just going to walk through the entire tool step by step. You've probably already seen the dashboard. This is where you enter HoorayHR. It shows you what's going to be happening today, who's working, who's off on vacation. The admins can see who's ill as well. You can also see what's going to happen this week. So you can see it's going to be Evelyn's birthday and that Jacob is going to be away on Thursday and Friday as well. Also, what's going to be upcoming in the next week is going to be 2 anniversaries on the 1st of August. So that's fun to see. Some other things you can see on the dashboards are the documents that have been added lately, coming holidays that you planned, or the holidays that are for everyone in the company. As an admin, you can also see the integration store in your dashboard, or you can see it at the top of the bar. Here you can integrate with several payroll features, several bookkeeping features or accounting features. And with an integration, you can either make it super easy to immediately email or transfer the expense claims to your accounting, or get the pay slips from the payroll company that you work with. So that's the integration store. Which is also something you can see as an admin in your company settings, is the hours per day that you've selected that people work at your company, the default weekly hours, which we also use for the vacation time, for the leave, the default working days, default travel allowance. Support's really important. If we as support ever want to look into your account so we can help you, this is where you find the support button, and then you can grant us access to help you. Partner access is something for either your financial advisor that's external, to give them the rights to also enter your platform. And something that's new but also very interesting is the team leader rights. If you as a company feel like your team leaders should have access to the contracts or the salaries, you can now make them available to enter that information. This wasn't something that you could do. You're going to enroll this for a lot more in the following months, maybe years. Make it possible to make everything suitable for your own company. So that's the company settings. And then you have the dashboard. We're going to make our way to colleagues. Colleagues is obviously where all the people that work with you are located. You can select teams if you want to see in which team they work, if you're only interested in the people working in marketing, for example. And for now, together, we're going to add a new colleague. Let's see. I'm going to call this person Yaro. Oh, it's going to be a test account anyways. Add a colleague. So we've just added Yaro. Yaro is a new colleague that's going to be working with us. And we're going to pretend like they are. We're going to go to Yaro's profile. So we're going to be entering date of birth, country of birth. Place of birth is not interesting for now. This is going to be their login. Here you can address, emergency information, bank details, everything. But what is most important for now, obviously saving, but the employment. Without employment, we're not going to be able to calculate the leave. We're not going to be able to send you a reminder when the contract's about to expire. So we're going to add that. So let's see, add employment information, commencement date. It's going to start working with us on the 1st of August. The contract that Yado is going to work is a permanent contract. They are just amazing. The working hours are going to be 36, because every other week Yado is going to have a day off. No probation period, signed contract, tax credit is on. Please note that oh yeah, that makes sense. Next week is different. Every other week, a Friday off, lovely. And the salary is going to be 3,500 based on 40 hours. So on 36 hours, that'll make 3,150. We're going to save that. And then we've added Yado. And that's how you add a new colleague. At this point, Yado is not yet invited to join. So their email he hasn't an email yet. You can either do it here, or wait, no. In the profile here, invite, or in your tasks, you will also see that Yado popped up on the invite list. Then you have calendar. In the calendar, you can see who's on sick leave, who is on vacation, who's at the office. You can also say, okay, usually I'm at the office on Wednesdays, but today I'm going to be working from home. Switch that and all your colleagues will see you're working from home for the day. You can also integrate your calendar to either your Google Calendar or your Outlook calendar if you want to see who's at work or who's on leave. If you only want to see from your own team, you can also register for that. So only the marketing team, when they're on leave or when their birthdays are, you can transfer it to your own calendar. The leave feature, that's a very, very extensive feature. Here you can see all the leaves that anybody has requested over this year. Here you can see all the budgets, but the most interesting thing is the leave types. Here you can see all the leave types that your company is using at the moment. So you can see vacation, you can see that it's 240 per or yearly, which is 160 hours statutory and 80 hours non-statutory. The tool, HoorayHR, will just calculate how many hours you get based on how many hours you work. They will first always use the statutory hours because they will end after 6 months after the last day of the year that they were given. And then the non-statutory will only expire after 5 years. So it'll always go in the right order. You can also see that there are different leave types. Lucky day is something that this company does, but also if you have somebody that's going on parental leave, unpaid parental leave, that's something that we already added to the platform that you can just add if there's somebody that's going to have a baby. You can add, for example, birth leave for partners. The hours are based on how many hours you would work. So it's 40 hours. For example, Yado that we just added, it would be 36 hours because it's a week of leave. But you can just add that. And then, for example, if Yado would be the person to have the baby on their second day of work, assigned to Yado. And Yado works 36 hours, so make it 36 and assign. And that's how the leave works. You also have holidays. You can add different holiday schedules here and assign them to the right people. For example, if we would have colleagues that live in Belgium, you can make another list with Belgian holidays. Or if we have colleagues that are from Germany, you can give them those holidays because obviously they wouldn't have a day off on King's Day, which is a Dutch holiday, but we do. And then they have other holidays that they would have a day off. So that's the holiday feature. You have a time feature in which you can write 3 types of hours. It's mostly interesting for either writing down how many hours you've worked on, for example, a project. If that's something you're interested in, then you can select the way of compensation, none. It's only for your own data tracking or your own information. If you have a 0-hour contract, you can also select payout. So, for example, last week you've worked from Monday till Friday, and you've worked every day from 9 to 4. I had a 30-minute break every day. It'll calculate the hours. And that's the amount of time that I worked last week. Now my manager is going to get a message that I filled out my hours for last week, and they're going to get a request to either be okay with the hours or tell me that the hours are wrong and that I should request them. You can also enter hours that are time off in lieu, which is in Dutch time for time. So if you've worked until 9 because a customer had a huge problem and you worked 3 hours longer than you were supposed to, you can add those 3 hours here. No breaks, just working. Time off in lieu. And then when they've been okayed by your manager, you will see them in your time off in lieu hour list. So if I were to, let's see, approve them, and here they are. Now I have 4 hours to request at another time. Sick leave, this is a very easy tool. You can report sick leave for a colleague if you're admin or for yourself. She's going to be sick from today on, 100%. We expect her to be back on Friday, but eventually you'll have to enter the registered recovery, and that will end the sick leave, and then you can see it in your reports after that. You can see the sick leave percentage of the whole entire company. Contracts. This is a very interesting one. This is the contract feature. The contract feature is where all the contracts that you give people are added. It's not the physical document that's going to be in documents later on. You can add it here, but that's what we're going to do for Yado, for example. So you can see the contracts here, and whenever a contract is about to expire, you get an email 90 days in advance and 4 advance to remind you that you're going to need to either give your colleague a new contract or have a very difficult conversation with your colleague. So that's the contract feature. We have an expense claims feature for all your expense claims. Like I said, you can add that to the accounting tool that you're using. You just take a picture of the receipt you've had, add the VAT, select what it's for, save it, and then it'll immediately go to your manager. If they approve, then it's fine. Then review expense claim, that's something for after for the admin or for the bookkeeper. And if they use that, then it will say handled instead of approved, and then you know the expense claim has been paid. Company assets is a place where you can enter the laptops that people have, maybe the keys that they have to the building, the cars that they have. We haven't filled it out that much in this test HoorayHR, but we can add something. So if you would say key card and phone, for example, you can add the asset key card, model 123, description not necessary because it doesn't have a star in there, and then create asset 9 for which colleague. Abigail's getting a key card. It was issued on July 1st. And then a timeline will appear. And then when Abigail retrieves her key card, or you retrieve the key card from Abigail, the timeline will get longer and longer as you give the card away again. And in company assets, you will see it as available after that. Documents is where you put the contracts, but also where the pay slips will be able to be imported. One very important thing about documents that is really nice to have is that you can upload documents in bulk. So if we see here, I'm going to upload 3 contracts in one go, and you can already see if the name of the person that the contract is assigned to is in the name of the file, they will immediately be assigned to the right person. We can set an expiration date for it if we want to. That one is already expired then. Category will be contracts. Label, you can add labels to it if you want to. And also you can set another reminder, but this is mostly important, for example, if somebody did a course that's going to expire and you would like that document, or for example, that certificate, you would like to get a reminder 2 months in advance because you need to plan a new course. For example, a first aid course, you need to plan a new one, need to see who wants to follow the course, that kind of stuff. You can set another reminder, upload them, and then you will see in, for example, Yado's contract that it has been added to their contract as well. Workflow is a feature that you can use to make any type of to-do list that you have for whenever somebody comes to work for you guys, or whenever somebody's leaving. You can make a list of things to do. So, for example, onboarding workflow for or for a new colleague. This is a Dutch onboarding workflow, something we added in. But it's a template that you can use for any situation that's reoccurring within the company. So, for example, if you have a reoccurring Christmas gift that you need to get everybody, you can make a workflow for yourself that you start every year on October 1st, that you're going to need to see how many people are working in the company, find a company to make a cute Christmas gift, make sure everybody's addresses are still the same. You can just make a workflow and use that as your to-do list, technically. Performance is a place where you can file the performance reviews or the one-on-ones that you've had with the people that work with you. In the end, you will also see, which is very nice, that all of these documents are forming a timeline as well. So you can take a look back at what have we talked about last year. You set a goal for yourself. Have you achieved that goal? Or back then you let us know that you were not that comfortable with giving feedback. Have you been training, or have you given anybody any feedback? So that's a really really cool feature within the within HoorayHR itself. Then you have reports, which is just a big bucket of data that you can use. Here are the hours that people are working, the sick leave. This is just general information. The work locations that people have worked at. So, for example, we use this to see how many days people work from home, to give them the reimbursement for working from home for gas and coffee and stuff. You can see the leave that everybody's requested, the hours that people have worked and written down, the sick leave that I've showed you before with the sick leave percentage as well, but also the expense claims that have been done, the travel expenses that have been reported, and the amount of performance reviews that there have been. So if, as you can see, the only department that had any performance reviews this past year has been the unassigned team. So it's time for sales, marketing, development, and account management to sit down with their colleagues. The last thing to go through is the profile. This is something that everybody has. If you don't have admin rights, the only categories here are dashboard, colleagues, calendar, and my profile. because for an employee themselves, it's only interesting what their overview is, their profile, their leave, or their documents. So that's what HoorayHR looks like and what you can do in a nutshell. I know it went by pretty fast. If you have any further questions, you can always request more information through the support chat, or plan a conversation with either me or another customer success manager to ask more in detail questions. For now, I'm going to leave you with this. It was a really big walk, or a really fast walkthrough, but I hope it helped you a little bit, and hope to see you in the future.